Well, America is the unhealthiest country on earth as millions of people struggle with their poor health due to poor diets, which involves eating a lot of meat. But here to talk about the benefits of a plant-based diet is Marjorie Leon of Vegan Life Colorado. Thank you for coming in.
Sure.
So the two biggest killers of Americans today are heart disease and cancer, and red meat is directly tied to both of those. So let's talk about the benefits of cutting back on just meat in general and incorporating more of a plant-based diet.
Sure. Well, basically, where I start most conversations is nobody disagrees that eating more vegetables is a bad thing. Nobody. Then you kind of get into people wanting good news about their bad habits. That entails a lot more trickier information. The red meat is tied to IGF-1, which is an inflammatory response inside our bodies.
Okay.
And that's where we get the cancer, the diabetes, the heart disease, things like that. It has no fiber. Meat doesn't. It has very, very high levels of protein. And a lot of times we'll get a protein toxicity off of that. And a lot of times it doesn't sit well on the stomach. We get leaky gut from things that don't graduate, which is, that don't digest very well.
Okay.
And those are lovely side effects of eating a lot of meat.
So you mentioned protein, and I know anybody that's going to say, well, if I shouldn't eat meat, where am I going to get my protein from? What do you say to that?
If I had a nickel for every time somebody asked me that. Actually, even potatoes have 5 grams of protein. Spinach has 35% protein. Anything, beans, greens, legumes, split peas, lentils, those kind of things have a lot of protein. And they're the kind of proteins that our body digests really, really easily.
So not only cutting back on meat can help you with your personal health, but it also can help the environment.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about that.
The factory farming of both cows, pigs, and chickens actually produce more methane in the environment than all of the transportation systems combined. So they put more things into the air, not to mention the dead zones off of places like New Orleans that are specifically tied to the runoff from the manure and the stuff that comes off of those factory farms, and those are producing algae blooms and killing our oceans.
I remember hearing a report that came out, I think maybe a couple years ago, about researchers finding human DNA in hot dogs.
Oh yeah, not good,
Among
other things.
Yeah, just that's pretty disgusting.
It really is.
Do you mention that to people?
I don't generally just go directly for that, but one hot dog is worth 5 cigarettes, according to the American Cancer Society.
Wow.
So, if you want to hand your kids a Marlboro instead of a hot dog, I mean, it's roughly equivalent.
Gotcha. Tell us about what you brought in.
This is jasmine rice, and this is an Indian dish. This is red lentil dal with sweet potatoes, roasted red peppers, and lots of onions and garlic, which is anti-inflammatory.
Smells great.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Talk about somebody that sees this and says, well, maybe I should cut back on meat. What's a good starting point for them?
A great starting point is to come to the Vegan Life Colorado meetings, just to kind of get a general idea of what people are eating, what people are doing, and that we're all normal people. It's not some fringe crazy thing. And then there are classes at St. Mary's Hospital. There are classes at WCCC. There are all kinds of information available online that kind of gives you an idea of some things where you can go Meatless Monday, and then there's Taco Tuesday, and then you can just kind of keep going. Okay. And my first instinct is to tell people, take dishes that you really like, things that you're comfortable with already, and kind of ratchet back the meat or eliminate it entirely.
Okay. Well, great information. Thank you for coming in. We'll have all the information on our website as well, WesternSlopeNow.com.
A little bit